Hello friends, today I would like to talk to you about glass gluing. It is a subject that is little talked about, little found on, especially on the internet. There are very few courses in Brazil. And first of all, I would also like to make it clear that this video is not intended to replace a face-to-face course, and that it is aimed at an introduction to the subject and introductory knowledge on the subject. It will give you the conditions to even make small objects, trophies, and everything else. It really is a matter of time, training, patience, of dedication, but gluing larger glass pieces like for furniture. The furniture maker required a lot of technique. There's a lot of study and more qualified learning about the subject, because they involve masses, they involve forces that generally do not exist in small pieces. Just to make it clear, so that people don't get fooled, thinking that what I'm going to show here is enough to start building furniture. Well, so from now on, we're going to talk a little bit about the subject. The most used and most effective glue for gluing glass. And glass metal is UV glue, or ultraviolet glue, right? It works, it's cured. It dries through ultraviolet rays. The most common one we have today in Brazil is Loxial. And it has this number here. This one here is an R, there are R. Now new, 3035, 3023. And it's better for you to find out who the supplier 3021 is the most popular, because it is a glue of medium viscosity and high resistance. So that's why it is the most used. If I'm not mistaken, she's a glue. Thinner, lower viscosity, and has less resistance. But that's when you go to buy. It is preferable to seek the correct information from the supplier. There are other brands in Brazil. I've already tried some. I'll talk about the ones acquaintances that I worked with. I worked with TraBrasil. I will leave the name at the bottom of the video later. It's also a very good glue. It has a very good drying and curing capacity. Very good, but it has a disadvantage that when exposed excessively to light, you see, it turns yellow. The collage is not transparent. It is not clear. It turns yellow. If you forget to pass the stitch, it will turn yellow, so I stopped using it because of that. Viscosity a little higher than that, at 3021, and has a faster initial drying. Next, we will talk about drying and curing UV glue. And I worked with gold. It's a much cheaper glue. I'm spending, it is high viscosity. It's even interesting for vertical collages. But I found it to be a low resistance, so I stopped using it. In my case here, it didn't do what I needed. But it is a glue that today is half the price of a Loxial. Evaluated. The glasses come with 50 grams, 100 grams, 500 grams, 1 kilo. And the Loxial at today, it rotates between R. Oh. It may seem expensive, and it is, but 50 grams of this glue really lasts a lot. 50 grams of UV glue, if used correctly. It's glue to work with for a long time, depending on what you're doing. Okay, so it's a series for glass, and glass metal collages, as I already mentioned. and its drying takes place through ultraviolet lens formed caps. And I also wanted to talk to you about this. These are those black lights called black light. Down in the 80s, it was very common. Infections and everything. There are two types of black light. There is this one that is called black white. And then you will understand a little more. And the most well-known traditional one is the common black light. And then I'll also show you how they work, each one of them, so you can understand the drying process. It's the same thing. The operation is the same. And everyone works with what they prefer. I personally like the black one better, and the lamp's a little more. We can find these kits. The lamp is ready, assembled in stores for glassware or even on the internet. I consider the price high since it is something very simple. It's a lamp that you buy at a lighting store. All materials can be found in a lighting store. Lighting, or even in some electronic stores, you can buy that lamp. Here, people end up buying from an electronic store, which is cheaper. And there is in the lamp a gutter, a normal phase here reactor, all the materials for a lightning strike. Conventional sane ballast in the right size for the lamp power. These lamps of mine here are RP. It's watts are piece from within a watts. Anyway, the cost of this is around 60 rays with the gutter, while kit purchased is or. And another thing that I consider important, we always work with gloves depending on the weather you are going to work. Either sunscreen or a long sleeve shirt, and also protective glasses. There are good sunglasses, glasses suitable for working with ultraviolet lamps, or even normal glasses, even conventional sunglasses. The important thing is to protect yourself from the brightness. You will understand here I will haul. One of them ready I just called. The black-white one is a little more visible, and the black one, it is a little less, but it is lit here. You can see the effect. That's right. And now we are going to go a little further here. Let's talk about another important part, which is about preparing the glass. We're going to talk a little bit here about preparing the glass for gluing. Right. We can do a gluing of pieces. A frontal shape, flat gluing, so to speak, or standing gluing or vertical gluing, for example, like this. Anyway, the shape we're going to talk about, it doesn't matter, but the issue is preparing the glass itself. Okay, we're going to follow up. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that, talking a little bit about cleaning. Of the pieces, preparing the pieces and cleaning. For cleaning, I've been using isopropyl alcohol. I used regular alcohol, but I've been giving preference to isopropyl alcohol. A good cleaning of parts that are going to be glued, removing all stains, all grease. And this will give a good bond. Therefore, gloves must also be used to be clean, and preferably I will use paper towels when cleaning. Avoid cloths, because the cloth will get dirty over time. He won't notice and end up not doing what it should do, but paper won't. It will deteriorate quickly. As a result, you will always work with clean paper. Another important point is the finish in this case, the sandpaper. The glass has to be well well sanded, well prepared. The surface that will make contact, it has to be really flat. Well, why UV glue is not gluing glue like an epoxy glue, for example, which fills spaces. It occupies empty spaces. UV does not. It is a glue that does not have this capacity. So you have an idea, the flaw. Its filling capacity, there's the defect limit, like glass can have. Two contact pieces, the distance between them would be the equivalent of the thickness of 3 sheets of 4 added together. It's 0.23 millimeters, that is microns. I'm up to here with the digital caliper. I'm going to try to mark it and try to show you. I don't know if the camera will be able to capture it, but it would be exactly this distance here. That is, it's nothing. The distance is 0, so the glass has to be really perfect for you to have a good bond. And then excess glue doesn't solve it either. There's no point in me wanting to use a bottle of glue here, fill it in. Dipping won't work, so the glue has to be in the exact amount necessary. The glass has to be very well prepared. Clean in the case of contacts. This one is a Loxial. The remainder of a vase in the trophy where the pieces are stacked like this. No, this is a simpler collage. My ear is already ready. And now when I have a collage, which will be a contact area here, it is a top of the face or a top of top, then I really need to have a collage, a well-prepared glass, very flat. So let's do the unpowering already. Kind of prepared for us to do our collage. I'm going to clean my glass. No need to waste time here with this. I'm going to clean my glass. And we'll come back and I'll do 2 collages here. So you can see how the process is. Right? So I'm going to clean it and we'll come back. Well, coming back here, my pieces are already clean. I'm ready to start gluing. And I want to add detail. One detail. I talked at the beginning about gluing, drying, and curing. This glue, it dries very quickly, around 20-30 seconds maximum, about drying. But we have the curing process. The curing process, basically we do a calculation like this. If I'm going to glue 2 glasses together, it's easy. And this glass of mine is 10 millimeters thick. I'm going to let it cure for approximately 20 minutes. What's the calculation? It's 2 minutes for each. Every millimeter of glass mass that my light will have to pass through, so I'm going to place the piece here, and I'm going to place the lamp here to cure, right? It has to pass through this entire extension. The light has to pass through this entire extension to get to the glue. You know what? I'm going to let it cure to have a perfect cure. It took approximately 20 minutes. If the glass is thinner this time, this is important. You know, some people don't let it, but it's important. Another important detail is with this glue. Never leave it near the lamp, because otherwise I'll ruin my glue. It's a detail. I handled it, stripped it, and moved the glue away so it can dry. Another detail is when storing it, store it with a lid, preferably in a dark place, also to completely avoid the entry there and exposure to light. This is important. So much so that this Loxial glass is already black to avoid this very thing. In most of them, the glass is black to prevent this entry of light. So let's go here. What matters is what everyone wants to see. I'm going to put a little drop here. A glue on my glass. I'm going to put a little drop. It's really just a drop. It's important to cut the bead of on the glass very gently so that it's very thin. A little, right? A little glue. Because otherwise there's a waste. I'm going to make a strange collage here so that later we can do a quick resistance test. I'm going to do the following. I'm going to go here. I'm going to leave. For a few seconds I'm pressing it. It's important to press one glass against the other. That helps a lot. Okay, look. Already there. It's not anymore. If it moves, it's already firm. What am I doing here? I'm going to let it cure here. In the other lamp. In the meantime, I'm going to make another collage. I'm going to glue this glass, but I'm going to glue it standing up. I'm going to get my glue here once more. I'm going to give it 2 little drops here. Wait. I'm going to put it in. That's right. Let's simulate something here. I'm going to hold it with a square. A small square so that it can look nice. I press it. And I put the lamp in. Okay, a few more seconds and we'll have our glass glued here, simulating it as if it were a picture frame or a trophy or something. Hold it longer because it's a small contact area. Okay. Evaluate here if it's firm. No, it's not firm yet. My hand is also covering light here. That's important. In the meantime, we'll talk here. Once this piece is glued, I'm sorry to inform you that unsticking it is complicated, so don't make any mistakes. The only way to unstick it with heat. But since glass has a problem that it doesn't conduct heat, normally we have more chance of breaking the piece in our attempt to unstick it than actually being able to release it. Small pieces, we have the advantage of being able to even put them inside a pan and leave. They're boiling for a few minutes and perform the unsticking. However, larger pieces, and we can't do that. The other way to try to unstick it is with a heat gun. We can try to heat it here with that hot air gun, heat gun. But I have to heat this whole set if I wanted to. Cooling now, you have to heat this whole assembly. Because if I just conduct heat in this small area, I'm going to break the glass here. So, that's a problem. The Loxial really, I haven't had much success in schooling now. Gold already gave me this advantage, as I said at the beginning. It is a glue with slightly lower mechanical strength. Loxial is really glue. Strong. Okay, so look here just a few seconds and really look at our piece. It is now firm. For many people who make trophies, it would already be ready. For me, it's still really going to be here healing for a while longer. To be able to guarantee the service, the help of the square was great here. The piece came out perfectly. So, even though it's a joke, it's here. Speaking of mechanical resistance, my other piece was curing there. I'm going to show you a detail here. I don't know if the camera will be able to capture it, but we have here a question of a refraction. The glue, it leaves a margin, refraction mark, it has a break in the movement. In our speed of light passage, so we have refraction. This is something that happens. It's the only mark that will be made, but it's a transparent mark. And talking about mechanical resistance, thanks, it's here. I'm going to push hard, and we'll see what happens. It really is glued. He finished. This one is already here. It's ready. Whatever I wanted to do here. And as I said, it's a piece like this that really takes off. I would say it's over. It doesn't come off anymore. So if you want to learn, if you want to take a test, make it with material you can lose. You can lose. Spend a little by a weaker glue or a low resonance Loxial resistance, right? Or gold, which is even cheaper. Low resistance, and do some tests first. Or risk losing their jobs. But if you are careful, the chance of losing is small. Is it okay? I'm both in glass and glass metal, these procedures. Next, in case of glass metal, you have to remember that the metal has to be, and it cannot be a material, ferrous, which will oxidize over time. It cannot. I have never tested on galvanized material. It is usually used. Aluminum or stainless steel are the two most used materials. I've never seen brass used, but I believe it works. Iron and steel plate that is organized. I've never seen it used, so here it is if anyone wants to test it. The warning, you can test, but do long-term testing. Because oxidation can promote some detachment. But in general, that's it, folks. Like I said, I'll leave some tips here. Simple, you already know. You can ask questions, you can comment, you can send me messages on YouTube, like you already do. I'm always willing to try to respond to the extent of what I know. Is it okay? Willing to help, answer questions. Remember to like, to give a thumbs up, to say that you liked it, to subscribe. If you liked it, you can also say that, yeah, you didn't like it. Share with friends, share on social media, help add favorites to videos, really launch the channel, being able to gain visibility. And we continue with this work. Suggestion of some, any need, any video tip, you can talk to the best of my knowledge. I'll try to do it, okay? Guys, stay there. And if you have any questions, just ask. Comments below the video, just ask. Okay, guys. Big hug and let's go. Let's do something interesting. That's it, guys. A big hug.